How we doing today, guys? It's Jesse with The Common Man, bringing you news and politics through a common sense lens. And it has been far too long, my friends, and I deeply apologize for that. But there was a certain period of time, a very dark era, that I had started to figure out that I started to think politics, and at least international politics and all of that kind of stuff, seemed to be pretty pointless. There was after working the primary and seeing what had happened during it and considering the absolute abysmal disaster that was the primary and Greg Abbott winning so absolutely handedly. Now, given this was the first time he'd ever actually had a primary challenge against him, and they, between the three major guys, they ended up getting almost 30% of the vote, and it was the very first time that he had ever had to deal with something like that. Abbott had ever had to deal with something like that. And the fact that my understanding is the primaries are supposed to be the people that are the most informed, the most in touch, the guys that know the know, that walk the walk, that stick around with, that kind of stuff, and that really know the ins and outs. So the ones that pay attention the most are the ones that vet the candidates. These are those of us that show up on primary day. Well, it turned out after 2 years of ridiculous lockdowns, after several of my friends losing their businesses, after lives being destroyed, my own shop shuttered, and the massive amount of money, lives, and all the rest of the destruction that went along with Greg Abbott's lockdowns on the great state of Texas, I had no way, or there was no way, shape, or form that I would ever vote for that man ever again, and I never will. I had literally had personal friends whose lives were destroyed because of the lockdowns he implemented. Now, you can go out there and say, well, it wasn't his fault. It was Barbara Canales. It was the local county judges that decided to shut things down. Yeah. Guess what, Jackwad? Who do you think gave them the authority to do that? It was Greg Abbott. Who do you think to this day, almost 3 years later, Texas is still under a state of emergency? So that way he can continue to bleed money from our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren by getting all the fun financial Fed money that keeps bleeding through as long as you're in a state of emergency. How about that $1.7 trillion omnibus bill that all the rest of these rhinos and swamp monsters helped pass back in December? Yeah, you want to bet that Abbott's getting a cut of that too? I guarantee it. So needless to say, my drive, my spirit, my hope for trying to get involved in politics and the news and try to bring you things through a common sense lens was rather shattered. And it was rather destroyed because I thought if the people that were supposed to be the most informed, the people that were in the primaries that actually got off their butts and voted on an odd day, on a major election that there's not anywhere near as much news coverage, that a lot of people don't think is near as important, if those people couldn't be informed enough to get rid of the monster and the destructive force that is Greg Abbott in the state of Texas, I was done. I was out. If the people that are supposed to be the most in the know of politics can't get this straightened out, then guess what? It's time to go local, and it's time to get back in the culture. And as you can see, this background around me right now is not my normal layout, because that's what I did. I picked up the culture war and I marched forward, because Breitbart used to say, and I believe it's 100%, if not 1,000% true, politics is downstream of culture, and it always will be. And all the majority of the talking heads that represent the Republicans or the conservatives or any of that, or any our kind of side of thinking, time and time again have ignored culture. They have despised it. They have made fun of people that are into video games, that are into superheroes, that are into comic books. They've literally done all of this stuff. They had made fun of them all the time and releasing the guiles and the wiles of the pop culture to the side of the left. The woke acolytes of the cult have completely, totally overtaken your culture. And then people wonder why Gen Z and millennials are so in favor of communism and socialism and all the rest of the garbage that goes with that. Because all of you conservatives, all you people out there that thought that primaries and wheeling and dealing behind the scenes in Washington, D.C. and in capitals like the Austin were the only thing that mattered, and that culture and comic books and movies, superhero movies and music and all the rest of that stuff was just a bunch of garbity-gook that didn't really matter, because of course once those kids grow up and they get out of college, they'll get into the real world, and then of course they'll all end up conservative. Yeah, how's that working out for you, boys and girls? Because Amazon, Disney, Warner Brothers, AT&T, all the rest of these major corporations out there, all of Silicon Valley are now run by those college students. And guess what side they're favoring, boys and girls? It ain't ours. They didn't grow up. They're indoctrinated to the cult, and the culture reinforces that. So I left. I got out of politics. I didn't really even go to many meetings. The only reason you saw a video on here from John Wright is because he reached out to me. And I could not stand Paulette Guajardo, especially after all the stuff she did over the Second Amendment. But even then, that wasn't enough to wake up all of you out there. I offered you an alternative, and still, he did well. And I thank each and every one of you that voted for him out there, because he still won. He still got way more votes than anyone would have ever expected him to get. And he got it. And he did it because each and every one of you out there that pays attention. And so that's what this is for, because now I'm back in the fight, because now I have hope again, because something amazing, something miraculous has happened. There's actually still some members of the GOP that actually have a pair of balls, that actually have a spine, that actually have guts, that aren't willing just to sit on their butts and let leadership run over them with threats of taking funding from them, or making it to where you're not gonna win re-election because we're not gonna give you any money for re-election, and you're gonna lose, and we're not gonna support you in the primary, and you're not gonna get the committees you want, and every other thing. Well, guess what? We've got a group of 20 Republicans right now, including our own representative in Corpus Christi, Michael Cloud, who said screw that and screw you to the establishment. We're not putting up with McCarthy and his swamp monster BS anymore. He is just as responsible as all the rest of them rhino Republicans, although actually I think they really do represent the majority of Republicans based on the primaries in this state of Texas, the conservatives out there. This group of 20, represents the conservatives, the well-respected, the actual conscious people who are willing to look at the time of day it is, see the writing on the wall, understand what time it is, and they realize that they are not going to get what they want out of Kevin McCarthy to actually fix any of this crap, expose the truth, get the kind of spending cuts that we need done with his kind of trash leadership, especially when we don't even give any simple concessions over what actually is going on. So here we go, boys and girls. Jesse's back, and we're about to roast all of these GOP bulwarks out there that are just going and talking, all these talking heads on Fox News and everywhere else that are just going out there going, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. This is so embarrassing. This is ridiculous. How do you think this makes us look? I don't know, like maybe a party that people actually deserve to fight for and vote for, because they're actually going to stand up for their values and morals and not just get into Washington D.C. and turn into another swamp monster like McCarthy, McConnell, Abbott, and every else one of these rhinos who only care about polling, and who's going to donate the much to their campaign. Well, it looks like, boys and girls, those days might be over, because now we've got a group of congressmen who actually have the balls, the galls, the guts, and the spine, and the fortitudinal integrity to stand up to the swamp and put McCarthy in his place. And guess what? Now that my rant's out of the way, we're going to get into this article, and we're also going to go over what Congressman Michael Cloud put out there, because I was super happy to see this, because honestly, this morning, I woke up expecting to call him and chew him a new butt, because I didn't know he was part of the 20. Because at this point, I'd basically given up on all of the Republican Party. I thought he was just going to roll over like all the rest of the swamp monsters and not do anything. But guess what, Michael Cloud? You are responsible for this video, because you have given me hope. You are standing up for and representing the people of Corpus Christi and the surrounding areas of our district, and are doing what you should. And that, good sir, deserves recognition and a thank you. Because we have so many other ballless Republicans out there, spineless, gutless Republicans out there that will not do it. Thank you for being conservative, and thank you for standing up to people. So let's check out this. I would say, let's want to do the numeral intro since it's already 10 minutes in. If you do enjoy my content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe if you are not already, because we are less than 50 subscribers away from 200, and I could not do it without every single one of you. And as this channel grows, this will give me more chance to be here more often for you guys and cover stuff that is actually giving us hope outside of the pop culture. But make sure, if you have not already, go over and check out my pop culture channel, The Common Nerd, because we cover pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens, and we are fighting the woke acolytes of the cult every single day, pushing back against their agenda and trying to take our culture back, so that way we don't have to worry about depending on only 20 Republican representatives that are standing up for the American people again. So join me, and let's go check out what dear our sweet Congressman Michael Cloud is saying about his vote against Kevin McCarthy. So, from Michael Cloud's website, right here, as you can see here, cloudhouse.gov, right here at the title, it's got all the official seals and everything else. And so Congressman Cloud votes in opposition of Kevin McCarthy for House Speaker. Washington, D.C. Today, Congressman Michael Cloud, Texas 27, issued the following statement regarding his vote in opposition to Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Congress is broken. I have worked for months in high hopes and good faith that our conference would chart a course away from the status quo, put us on a path toward fiscal responsibility, remember that $1.7 trillion omnibus we were just talking about, and form a Congress in which the elected representatives would truly be able to work on behalf of the American people. That's all we want. Stop going to D.C. and stabbing us in the back with all this crazy spending and all the rest of the garbage you guys have been doing over there. I have worked diligently with members of Congress, including Kevin McCarthy, to find an agreement on key structural reforms and policy initiatives needed to put our country on the right path. Some progress was made, but ultimately many of the promises made lacked enforcement mechanisms necessary to ensure their implementation, casting doubt on the sincerity of the reforms. And yes, absolutely. I was listening to Glenn Beck this morning. He had another great representative from the great state of Texas, Representative Chip Roy, on there this morning that explained exactly that all the BS, all the talking heads on Fox News, all the BS lines that they're spitting you are all lies. None of it is true. You need to go check out Chip Roy's interview with Glenn Beck on the Glenn Beck YouTube channel and go hear the words from yourself. If anything, it'll probably make you an even bigger fan of Chip Roy than you already are, and if you're not, it will make you a fan of him if you actually believe in small government, conservative values, and the people actually getting represented the way they are supposed to in D.C., not just ignored and treated like serfs, like we are nothing more than districts in the capital, small districts in the capital, just like in the Hunger Games. That's exactly how they treat you, and that's how they want you to continue to act. Fortunately enough, we got people standing up and putting this kind of crap in its place. Deadlocked House Speaker bid continues, and this is from just this afternoon. They have officially recessed again. There should be no more votes today. This is a fourth, fifth, and sixth round of votes that Kevin McCarthy has now lost, and that is beautiful, that is wonderful, and that is good things to hear about. On Wednesday afternoon, the House reconvened to conduct a fourth, fifth, and sixth round of votes for the Speaker position after Representative Kevin McCarthy, California, boy, that was kind of fitting that I threw this on this morning, huh? Failed three, and honestly, I swear to God, it wasn't intentional. I just grabbed it out of the closet this morning. The Lord works in mysterious ways, after all. Failed 3 times yesterday to gather enough votes. As a result, Tuesday marked the first time in a century that the House Speaker bid went to a multiple ballot vote. After hours of negotiations Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, McCarthy again failed to secure the House Speaker position before the House adjourned at approximately 4:30 p.m. Eastern. The House will reconvene Wednesday at 8 p.m. for a 7th vote. Yes! So they are going to be voting again tonight. So we've got another 2 hours before this vote actually happens, because I'm Central Time. Definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I will be putting out a short as soon as we find out how this vote goes. But I think we got funny feelings how it's probably going to go, especially considering how many people McCarthy already ticked off. During every round of votes, House Democrats unified behind their nomination, Haskin Jeffries. What a shocker there. They're part of a cult. Nancy Pelosi has whipped every single one of them into line, and they have fallen in place every single time, no matter what kind of talking points they put out on social media. AOC, Malik Tlaib, all the rest of those, all the squad, all of them, all fell in line as soon as Nancy Pelosi told them. They were all full of crap, saying that they were going to be different and not just follow along. That's what we're seeing from here, is 20 conservative Republicans who actually believe what they say and are sticking by it and standing up to the swamp. And that is beautiful. On Wednesday afternoon, ahead of the 4th ballot, Representative Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin nominated McCarthy. He added that the voting process was messy by design and referenced it as a feature, not a bug of their system. And I agree with him on that. Texas Representative Chip Roy, our boy, stood up to nominate Florida Representative Brian Donalds. Roy argued that the American people are tired of the status quo and want a new face, new vision, and new leadership. And he is right. Donalds used his first 2 votes yesterday to back McCarthy, but switched to his vote to Representative Jim Jordan on the 3rd ballot. Oh, so that was the 20th one that came in. Okay, last night. Then on Wednesday, Donald voted for himself during all 3 rounds. Looks like we got somebody to go for. The 20 Republicans who previously voted for Jordan voted for Donald's in Wednesday's votes. Representative Victoria Sponson, I don't care. Okay, so Wednesday leaving McCarthy with only 201 votes. Brought up code 3 times. Oh, this one. Okay, this is interesting. Victoria Spots of Indiana previously voted for McCarthy, voted present 3 times on Wednesday, which means she's like, okay, I see the writing on the wall. I'm gonna back out. Let's see who wins. Like, holy crap, the rats are leaving McCarthy's sinking ship. That is beautiful. The process should be frustrating, but it's important for us to have this communication so we actually get it done. But ultimately, he needs to be able to address the concerns of other people. Yes! Thank you. Thank you, Sparks. Thank you. What's the background? We all know it's because a lot of the overspending. It's all of that kind of stuff. Before the House governed. Meeting was very... Okay, so this is actually from Chip Roy. Or no, I think it is. No, this is Kevin McCarthy. Screw him. I don't want to hear from him anyway. Before the House convened on Wednesday, Texas Representative Chip Roy joined the Glenn Beck program to discuss the state of negotiations and why the Republican Freedom Caucus members refused to support McCarthy. The votes remain deadlocked. Oh, okay, so that's all they were telling you. So yeah, like I already said earlier, go check that out. Their votes remain deadlocked, according to Roy, because McCarthy refused to agree to crucial proposals from the Freedom Caucus that would prevent legislation like the $1.7 trillion omnibus bill from being jammed through the House. He noted that the Freedom Caucus members are committed to stopping bills from being created during closed-door meetings and brought to the floor for a vote without adequate time for review. Oh, I don't know. How about a 10,000-page bill that's just dropped on the floor and everybody's got to vote on it right now? Can't even get 24 hours, and it's not like you could get through it in 24 hours to begin with. These bills are written by special interest groups, not your representatives, and that's why none of them read it, none of them care, because they know they're just going to get their check from their special reps, from all their special investors investing in their campaigns, so they just sign off it and don't care. It's literally disgusting, and it's exactly what has destroyed our nation time and time again. During closed-door meetings, adequate time for review. When asked if Democrats would be willing to rally behind McCarthy to the deadlocked voting, former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi of California, mind you, remember, same people. This is a problem of their own making. This is called leadership. They should be able to work it out. Don't put this at the Democrats' doorstep. Oh, yeah, because it's like she never had any of her representatives that ever came out and said anything bad against her. Oh, yeah, that's right. A couple of them did. And then, of course, as soon as she cracked the whip, as soon as she said, hey, remember the cult? We'll cancel you. They all fell in line. Well, guess what? Republicans aren't like that. They're independent thinkers. That's the biggest problem among the conservative movement. We all want to do our own thing because we're independent-minded folk. That's how we operate. Fortunately enough, it looks like at least 20 of those independent-minded folk and at least one more who's trying to stay out of the whole situation might actually be able to pull something off. Remember, it took less than 10% of the population to successfully complete the Revolutionary War. I think we can at least get rid of Kevin McCarthy with 20 Republicans out of the entire House of Representatives, because God knows without them, he's never going to get it, and not getting it is exactly what he deserves. But hey, boys and girls, that's just my common sense take. Let me know what you think about all of this down below. Are you glad to have me back? Are you as excited as I am to see Kevin McCarthy getting absolutely roasted? Are you glad that Michael Cloud, our representative, is standing up for the truth and standing up for the honesty and integrity of trying to get things done and actually represent the people? Or do you think, like a lot of the Fox News mainstream media acolytes of the cult, where this is just embarrassing? I can't believe they're acting like this. They're so childish and petty. Yeah, guess what? Screw you, Eye Patch McCain. I saw the BS you were putting out there, and Chip Roy confirmed it was all a lie. So take that and shove it where your eye used to be. But hey, let me know what you think about all of that down below. Was that a little too harsh? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Patch McCain deserves exactly that. Let me know what you think. Like I said, all that down below. If you do enjoy my content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe if you are not already, because we're like less than 50 subscribers away from 200, and I could not do it without every single one of you. This is Jesse with The Common Man, bringing you news and politics through a common sense lens. It's good to be back, and as always, thanks for watching.